this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. I'm here today to do a kit and chat. So I spoke about a month ago about my plans for the year and what I wanted to do in diamond painting, particularly in these first few months of the year. And I have been doing that. I have got one of my ongoing whips finished. I've got another small one to go. I've been working more on outside the sweet shop. I've been doing my monthly projects. And now is the time to kit up something brand new. And I have decided to go with this one. So it is Mystery Kit Abstract Ocean. It says by Megan Duncanson. I feel like when it was listed, it was by MadArtStudios. So that must be an artist at MadArtStudios. And they are an artist group, I guess, that Diamond Art Club have carried, that I have always really enjoyed. So with this being a mystery kit, let me just let you know what I'm going to be doing in terms of spoilers. Basically, not a huge amount. I have done a whole unboxing for this kit. I'm pretty sure anyway. I bought it back in May 2023, so I can't remember exactly, but I think I have put up an unboxing of the kit if you want to see it in total. And in this video today, I'm not going to show you the canvas or talk about the actual design or anything like that, because I do know what the artwork is. I do prefer to find out with mystery kits what artwork I'm going to be working on, and it is so much fun. So the only spoiler really is that you're going to see the colours because I'll be kitting up. So just bear that in mind. It is quite an old one though, as I said, May 2023. It came out a while ago, so it's unlikely that anyone out there is going to be really disappointed by having the colours spoiled for them, but I just want to warn you so you can make your own decisions. So let me get the bits out. Whoop. So this is obviously the older style as well, so I've got the older toolkit. I might have a quick peek what I got in terms of cover binder and washi tape. Oh, a rose and some oranges on the washi tape. Cool. Right, let me put those away and get the colours. So here come the colours. Here we go. So here is the sticker sheet as they used to be. It's funny, I'm so used to the new style of doing it already. This feels really different. So obviously all of the symbols are in black and white, but on the canvas, I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones where you've got all different colours going through the canvas, but they don't correspond to the symbol. If you don't know what I mean by that, pick a symbol, say this one. You might find it would be on a white background, a blue background, a pink background, an orange background, and it just helps distract your eye. It's a nice medium-sized kit as well. That's what I fancied. So, how many colours is it? 58. I did look that up last week before I was going to kit up, but yeah, I'd forgotten. I'm hoping as ever that there isn't going to be too much static. And I'm going to be kitting up today into this 60 bottle storage container. It's got some scratched up bits courtesy of Xander the cat, who is a menace and loves to scratch up anything he can get his paws on. Okay, so I emptied that ready. I've got a bowl here for all the bits of rubbish. I've got my scissors. Oh, I've got a new gadget to try. This is for resealing the bags. If I open a bag and I can't fit it all in, this is hopefully going to help me reseal the bags. And I've also got a tray to kit up over to avoid spillages. Well, not avoid spillages because they're inevitable with me, but to catch them. And a funnel, which I find useful if I don't think the bottle's going to be overly full, not so much if it is going to be. So, first things first is I'm going to label these. So with mystery kits, with normal kits, I tend to just keep the bottles in DMC order. What I'm going to do is put the stickers on in DMC order right now, but once I've kitted up, I will most likely rearrange them into symbol order, because I just find it a little bit easier when they're black and white. Okay, here we go. I can't say I'm massively in the mood for kitting up. I'm quite tired. I wouldn't mind sitting down at this point in the day and not having to get this done, but I do want to actually be able to work on the kit. I've got about a section and a half of my row of outside the sweet shop to finish, and then this is what I want to work on next. So that is what's motivating me to get it done. So how is everyone? As usual, it's been a little while. I would love to be a channel that can bring you these sort of kitten chats and whip and chats more regularly. But frankly, they are hard for me to fit in because they take a little longer to film. Hence why they're often kitten chats, because it's something I have to do anyway, so I may as well take the opportunity to have a chat with you. Whereas whip and chats, I have to kind of shoehorn into my busy day. And also because, you know, I don't always feel like I have a ton of things to talk about, and I wouldn't say I necessarily feel like I have a ton of things to talk about today, but we shall see how we get on. My son is going to come home at some point soon as well, so he will be milling about. Actually, I say that, he'll come home and he'll go straight upstairs to probably play FIFA or something like that online with his cousin. That's his favourite after school activity. He has a little bit of gaming time before he needs to come off it for the evening. And he's actually, it's one of his later home days because he had a club at school, after school today. He's doing juggling club. So yeah, right, let me get all these on and then I can kind of get stuck into things, because I feel like I'm going to lose the thread of the conversation if I start to talk about things before I get these done. I don't know why. It's a bit of an overwhelmed day, I'm afraid. I'm feeling very, very Monday-ish. So yeah, just hoping this week's going to be kind on me. But I'll get more into that in a minute. Right, almost done with these. I'm somehow getting this all screwed up. And then after I've done this for the day, I will be, well, hopefully I'll be editing it and uploading it to be up today or tomorrow. And I also have some putties to label and sort of markers restocked. But then I plan to be done for the day. So we shall see how well I manage to stick to that plan. Okay, so that's all the labels on. Let's get on my kitting up. Here we go. So let me get my tray ready and let's get some drills. There's such lovely bright colours in this kit. I really can't wait to see this one come together. And let's get a few cut off. I'm intrigued to see how this gadget is going to work for sealing up the bags. I've used it a couple of times before and I haven't actually had a huge amount of success with it yet. And I'm still working out if that's user error, me just not being used to it, or whether it's not going to turn out to be such a good idea. We shall see. Gosh, it feels like a lot of these big bags, which is annoying because that means there's going to be a lot of bags that I need to seal up somehow, whether that thing works or not. Get in there. Okay, so I won't use the funnel for these because I know that the pots are going to be really full and that's not when it kind of is used to best effect. So 498. So this is why I've kept them in DMC order for now, and I'll rearrange symbols later on. So yeah, how is everyone doing? Do let me know in the comments below how you've been, how January has been treating you. So, oh, my husband came into the room, so to take a brief pause, and then I spilled drills apparently. So that, I think that was the smallest bag on that strip and it's just fit in the pot, so it doesn't bode well for the rest of them. This is the downside of this form of storage. I like these because I just find them nice and easy. And I find with the Elizabeth Ward style ones, sometimes I end up getting a bit of a sore thumb. If there's a lot of confetti and I'm having to constantly flick lids up and down, I don't particularly love that. So yeah, I find these easier in a lot of ways, but they're not so good for kits with big bags of colour. Yeah. January. Oh, they are not all going to fit, are they? Right, if it's going to be that full anyway, let's tip a few more out. And I guess this is an early test of the sealer. So let's find out how it goes. This isn't my idea, by the way. I saw someone in one of the groups I'm in, possibly Diamond Art Club's VIP group, saying that they'd used one of these, and I don't know. Right. Okay, but I haven't. I've kind of left a little hole, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of worked okay. It's not the neatest. I've not done it very well, but I don't think any drills are coming out of there. Okay, that's encouraging. Yeah, January has been a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if it's the January blues that a lot of people talk about, or whether it's just been my particular January. As someone with a January birthday, I don't tend to, you know, hate January like a lot of people do, because I've got my birthday, I've got my husband's birthday, I've got my dad's birthday. So it's a month when we have a lot of kind of birthday celebrations going on, which definitely makes it more fun. But this January has been tough, and I'm trying to work out why that is. I think oh dear. It's starting it off that's hard, and then as I've come off, having to line it up with the right place is tricky. But again, I haven't done it perfectly, but I don't think anything's going to come out. Yeah, I've been having a bit of a tough time physically this past month. I've spoken in the past about my muscle issues, and like, I've never had a real diagnosis. I've done physio, I've seen doctors, I've seen rheumatologists. No one's ever found anything to explain it. I'm just really prone to my muscles tightening up and getting very, very, very sore. And they really do tighten up. I wonder if I could just about fit those. Like, I go to the osteopath or someone and they're like, wow, that's, you know, a lot. And it's been a month like that. I have been struggling. I've had a lot of backache. More recently, I've been having a lot of shoulder ache. And I mean, sometimes quite intense pain. Like last night, I could not get to sleep because my left shoulder suddenly started really intensely throbbing. And it's just a little bit miserable, to be honest, when it's like that. Oh, the statics arrived. The first few were good, but this one is staticky. Oh, it's going to be one of those days, and I am so not in the mood. Right, let's pick up those bits. I'm not going to overfill it if it's staticky, because I'm probably going to need to put something in there at some point to help with that. So let's get these bits into the tray. Fortunately, I can't just sweep them off the table because of this stupid gap in the table that they'll all just fall in. So let's put them in here, and then I'll seal them into that bag. Yeah, so I've been to the osteopath last week, and it was, normally when I go, I feel a lot of relief and I think, oh, well, I'll be okay for a while. This was one of those times when I was like, I know that hasn't quite hit the spot yet. Like, there was just more of me that was feeling broken than there sometimes is, and more that could be tackled in one appointment. So I'm going back tomorrow and hoping that will then be key to giving me some relief, because I'm just, I have to say it's been getting me a little bit low, because I have been sleeping so poorly because I just cannot get comfy at night. Just lots and lots of tossing and turning, and just, yeah, not being comfortable. So, I really downloaded on the osteopath when I went last week, because I've been lots of times, so I feel like I know her a bit, and I don't know. I was just saying I'm really struggling with how much it's been hurting, and how little quality sleep I'm getting. I think I seem to go in phases. So I had a week where I was like just dreaming really, really vividly and waking up in hot sweats because of my dreams. And the osteopath said that sometimes that could be down to inflammation because of muscular issues that could cause you to have hot sweats. So there was a whole week of that, and then there was a fair bit of time of just, you know, literally not feeling like I could sleep because I was so uncomfortable. And just a lot of tossing and turning between positions in bed. And then last week was weird, because last week I was sleeping like the dead after I went to the osteopath. So it obviously did help a fair bit, because suddenly I could sleep, but I didn't really feel rested for it. So I don't know what's going on with me. I think, you know, that's what makes me think maybe some of it is just the time of year and just the January-ness of it all. I know I've really struggled this month as well, just to kind of get, oh my goodness, please. Do not do this to me. I don't know who I'm talking to, myself and my clumsiness. Yeah, it's going to be one of those kitten chats, isn't it? I will try and cheer up in a bit, I promise. Yeah, I definitely struggled a lot mentally at the start of the month, because I love what I do. I love the shop, and I love making putty, and I love making YouTube videos, and all of the things that I do that I would consider kind of work. I enjoy them all so much. But even if you love what you do, you need a break, right? And I think I just felt like Christmas flew by so fast. And I had this expectation that I'd feel like I'd had a really good break. Because, I mean, I had a good 10 days or so off work, almost 2 weeks even. And then I just didn't really feel like that. It felt like it flew by, because we were home for a couple of days, and then we were with one family for a couple of days, and then we were with the other family for a couple of days, and then we were home for a couple of days, and then we had visitors for a couple of days. And you know when it just really breaks things up? So I think I was just mentally very unprepared for January, and it's taken a while to get the motivation going, which is odd when I enjoy what I do. But yeah, I think I was just craving a little bit more of a rest. So I might have to build that into my plans for the spring and try and give myself a week somewhere in there where I can just take it a bit easier, give myself a bit of a catch up. But it's hard because I do enjoy what I do. So I don't like closing the shops down or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just rambling. But anyway, January is over. It is now February, and I am... What is going on with me? I'm chucking drills everywhere. It's now February, and I feel like I can see the first signs of spring, you know, the nights are getting just a little shorter. It's currently 4:15 and it's still light outside, like dusk is coming, but it's not fully dark yet. And that's nice, you know, it's that change, that time of year when it starts to change quite rapidly. And I know that in a few more weeks, it's going to be light much later into the evening, and that's a good point in the year, isn't it? But yeah, I feel like this year it's been a hard January for a lot of people. more so than maybe it normally is. And I think sometimes that feeling is sort of catching as well, isn't it? How's it been for you? Can anyone else relate to my ramblings about it? Oh, I tell you what, this is working well. It is giving off a slightly burning smell. I guess just because I'm using it quite often and it uses heat. I think that's normal. I hope so. But it is doing the job and saving me using up a load of baggies, which is, you know, more fiddly and more plastic waste. So it's not too bad. I think as long as I'm getting enough drills out that I'm not going to need to reseal the bag again, because every time you do it kind of cuts a bit off. So yeah, I think it's working quite well actually. Look at that. They're definitely not coming out. So what has been going on? What's been better about January? Well, I said it was my birthday, so I'm now 41. And then 11 days after my birthday is my husband's birthday, and he is also now 41. We're very close in age. We met at university in our first year of uni, so, you know, we're the same school year. But it's still funny that we're so close in age. I can't remember if I've told you this story before. I might have done, but you know when you're young and you just, because your world is not necessarily small, but like very focused on your family and the things around you, that you can sometimes make leaps and assumptions about the world that aren't true. And my parents are a month apart in age. So my dad is actually the day before me, and then my mum is a month after me. So one of those weird assumptions that I made growing up was that to get married to someone, you had to be the same age as them, which is ludicrous. But then what did I do? I grew up, and at 18, I met someone that I would marry and spend my life with, who was 11 days younger than me. I actually bettered my parents, according to my little rule that I laid out as a child. Anyway, that always tickles me. But yeah, we had our birthdays. Mine was a Saturday this year, which was nice. It's always nice having a weekend birthday, isn't it? However old you get, because, I mean, birthdays aren't that exciting anymore. Who cares about turning 41, right? It's a bit of a nothing birthday. But being able to just spend the day with my husband and my son was lovely, I have to say. I had a bit of a birthday lie-in, and then I was woken up with some presents in bed. My husband got me a big Lego set, which I was so excited by. He got me one for Christmas. I asked for one for Christmas, and then I did it shortly after Christmas because, you know, once I'd started it, I couldn't stop, and I loved it. And I'd shown him, I wasn't even hinting, I really wasn't, because I don't even bother doing that with my husband because he's actually very good at presents. He's very good at coming up with things. And unless I'm going to actually directly say, will you buy me this, please? I would like to have this year. Then I leave it to him. And if I hint at something, he's almost less likely to do it because he'll think it's too obvious, if you know what I mean. So I showed him it and I wasn't hinting. I was just like, oh, this is the next one I'd like to have. So I'll get that, you know, hopefully at some point like next year or whatever. But then he got it for me, and he said he was a little bit worried because he'd got me Lego for Christmas and my birthday. But then he said, like, it's, you know, Christmas and birthday are so close together. If I don't get it now, you're not going to get it all year, are you? Because these are like the 18 plus very involved Lego sets that are definitely sort of present money, you know. They cost more than I'm ever going to just spend on myself in the year because they're huge and involved and fabulous. So yeah, he got me that, and I was really excited because even though I hadn't been hinting for it, like I might have asked for it, but I thought he wouldn't want to get me the same thing because he prides himself on original presents and that kind of thing. But yeah, he really read my mood and got that. And my son got me with my husband's help, obviously, a sort of mother and child cooking course thing. So we've got that to book in. So that was really fun. And then we went into town. Something I quite like to do on birthdays. We do that a lot of years because I wonder if, I think all the rest might actually fit in. So I'm going to turn that off. Because it's just a nice activity to do, the three of us, to go and potter around town, and you can do that any time of year, but we usually don't. Weekends are often so busy with my son's sport commitments and that kind of thing, and there wasn't too much of that going on. So we just went for a potter around town. It was really, really cold that day, so we were all bundled up. And I don't think I actually even ended up buying anything or spending my birthday money that I got from my in-laws. I bought a book and that was about it. But it was nice to go around. My son ended up doing the best out of it. He got a new winter coat because his old one was a bit small. We had a debate, shall we say, in the shop, because I'm like, winter coats is one thing that I'm like, I'm not going to buy you a winter coat that fits absolutely perfectly now. Winter coats are something that to me last a couple of years. So I want to buy it so it's a bit big and it's going to keep you going for a while. And he was adamant that he wanted the smaller size. And I was like, well, no, if you don't want the bigger size, it's fine, but we won't buy it for you. Like, we'll wait till next autumn to get a winter coat because that's just wasting money to buy that at this point in the winter when he didn't actually need a coat. Like, his old coat was perfectly functional. It was just getting a little bit small. It would have lasted him the next couple of months of the winter. Anyway, eventually his desire to get new things won out. And then he's actually been really pleased with it. But yeah, he bought himself a few things because he had Christmas money. And it was just nice pottering around. And then in the evening, we went out for dinner. We went to Miller & Carter's, which is a steak restaurant in the UK. It's a chain, but it's like a fancy chain, and it's like a sort of bit of an occasion place, you know, not the cheapest, but they do things really nicely. And we go there very rarely because, well, for the reasons I just gave, but also because my husband's a vegetarian, so it's not like the ideal place for him. They do obviously have vegetarian options, but he's more limited there than he would be other places. But I really fancied it, so we went there as a treat for me, and my son really loved it. And, you know, my husband was absolutely happy as Larry with his. So we had a lovely evening there. We actually stopped off and saw some friends on the way there as well, who we hadn't seen in ages. So it was just a really nice day. Oh, and we came home and watched a film as well. So yeah, lovely family day. And then for my husband's birthday, it was midweek. So we were a little more limited, but we, well, he had the day off and I took the day off. So we went out and had a brunch together and just like hung out. I'd got him some puzzles and things like, you know, brain teaser type puzzles. So he was working away on those. And then in the evening we went to a Mexican restaurant because that was his choice for a birthday treat meal. Mine was actually a little bit spicy for me, which wasn't ideal. I have this thing, I think I explained it last year. The doctor called it IBS dyspepsia. So I guess I have dyspepsia, which makes me sound like I'm from, you know, Tudor times or something. But I take medication for it, and it's essentially like a form of indigestion, but it's not really related to food. If I wasn't medicated, I would have it regardless of what I ate or when I ate. And symptoms can be things like nausea, more than, you know, heartburn and that kind of thing. So yeah, I find now that if I mean, I'm not the world's bravest person when it comes to hot food, but also, you know, I can take a bit of heat, but if I eat things at my tolerance of heat, it then sets off my dyspepsia. So yeah, that was a little tricky. What's that, 996? But we still had a lovely meal. So yeah, those were the birthdays. I didn't know what to get my husband this year, so I got him a few different things, like those puzzles I'd mentioned. But then when my son and I were browsing to get a present from him for my husband, we found this thing, which they're doing. So they're going to this place in Bristol to swim with crocodiles. It sounds mental. But we looked it all up, and I mean, it says children from over 5, so obviously they're very confident on the safety aspect. But they've got these crocodiles that I guess they've just handled a lot, like small ones, obviously, not kind of man-eating size crocodiles. These small crocodiles that they've just handled their whole lives so that they are used to humans and they're perfectly happy to paddle around with humans. So yeah, they're going to go swim with the crocodiles at some point. I wouldn't fancy it, but they seem very keen. This is going quite quickly, actually. There's only been 1 or 2 of static. It's good. And then, I don't know, Christmas and New Year seems so long ago now. I kind of don't want to dwell on it, but we spent Christmas with my husband's family this year. We alternate. We never stay home because we don't live in the same town as either family. So if we stay home, there's just so many people that we'd miss seeing. So we were with my husband's family this year. And then after Christmas, we went down to my family because my family have a do right after Christmas. We call it Boxing Day +1. Which is basically we have a do on the 27th when everyone's had Boxing Day off to recover from Christmas. So we went down there for that. And then my parents came for New Year's, which was lovely. They haven't been up here for New Year's for a few years. And I love New Year's Eve. I know a lot of people really can't be bothered with it or just aren't that interested. I've always really loved New Year's. Actually, this is setting off a memory that I think I spoke about this before in a video when I was just coming up to New Year's, so I won't dwell on it. But we had a lovely time. It was really nice having them here. I think the last time they came up for New Year's was 2019, which is weird, isn't it? Thinking back to New Year's Eve 2019, when none of us knew what was coming next. A long time ago. Oh, I tell you what else has been good in January. Onyx Storm. Have you read Rebecca Yaros's Empyrean series? So Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and the new book Onyx Storm just came out. If you like fantasy literature, or even if you're not a massive fan of it, because I wouldn't say, I mean, I like it and I've read a fair bit of it, but I'm not like, it's not all I read. I'm not totally in with all the tropes and all that kind of thing. But Fourth Wing in particular is a very easy read, even if you don't do much fantasy literature. And then, yeah, this is the 3rd book of the 5-book series that came out. Apparently we have to wait a couple of years for the next one, which is so sad. But apparently the author needs a bit of a break, and, you know, I definitely prefer that she waited until she was ready to write it properly and do it justice than rush it for a deadline. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, Onyx Storm was, I'd been waiting for it. I have a good friend who actually got me onto Fourth Wing, who was waiting for it, and we were sort of reading it at the same time and saying, where are you up to? I'm on this chapter. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it was really fun. I loved it. It's actually sort of divided people a little bit from what I can see online. Possibly because it is a bit more sort of traditional fantasy, world building, lots and lots of information. I mean, it was intense. There were definitely parts I didn't feel like I was following as I read it. And I'm going to reread it, and I'm going to be watching the Fantasy Fangirls podcast about it. And I know that will help me fill in the gaps. But I know a lot of people are like, well, there's cliffhangers, there's so many unanswered questions, but it's the 3rd book of a 5-part series, so I'm kind of okay with that. That's what I would have expected. Obviously, I'm as frustrated as anyone else that I have to wait to find out what happens next. But I'm not surprised by that, or I don't feel let down. I think I think it's just we're all naturally impatient, aren't we? But if she'd answered everything in the third book, what on earth would have happened in the fourth and fifth books, you know? But yeah, it's interesting seeing the diverse opinions about it online, because there's a lot of people saying it's their favourite of the series, and there's a lot of people saying they really did not enjoy it in the same way. So yeah, I would say for me that it didn't like absolutely grab me so I couldn't put it down quite as much as the first two, but I think that's a little bit to do with just the extra complication within it and all the information, and just it being a bit, not heavy because it's fantasy literature still, but like a bit intense at times. But I absolutely loved it, and definitely I was completely hooked by about halfway through. So yeah, let me know if you've read it or if you've heard people talking about it, because it's sort of taken over my TikTok feed. You know, there are a lot of people talking about it. I think she did a good job, and I actually really enjoy the author in general. One of the things she said about why she's not going to write the next book immediately is that she wants to do more contemporary fiction, and I've read quite a lot of her contemporary fiction. Well, I tend to listen to it on audiobooks when I'm making putty or diamond painting or something. And I really enjoy them. They're a little bit more sort of predictable romantic fiction, I'd say. They're, you know, you kind of know what's going to happen and who's going to end up with who a lot of the time, although not always. But I enjoy that kind of fiction too. So yeah, I've been really enjoying those. I recommend her if you like books that are just, they're not necessarily particularly deep, but they are going to grip you, then I recommend giving her a try. What else is new? I mean, not necessarily new, but I've been really enjoying diamond painting recently. I put up a post review of the Mooney Made kit that was on my hit list for these first few months of the year to get finished, because it was a long-standing whip. And it wasn't like the most glowing review of a canvas I've ever done before. You know, do feel free to go watch it if you would like to know what I thought about it, because it wasn't entirely unproblematic as a project, and there were aspects of it that I did not enjoy, but I did get very into working on it towards the end, and I think that's been good to like really get me back in the habit of diamond painting a bit more, because I guess I realised I was sort of easing off a little bit. I was still diamond painting most days, but maybe I was only doing half an hour, and then I'd be a bit frustrated that things were taking me so long, because of course they are. And now I'm back to most evenings, you know, I'm going to do that for at least a couple of hours. Not always, you know, I very much get led by my feels, and if I'm not feeling it, I don't do it, because I don't want to burn out of things. But yeah, I've really enjoyed working on that project at the end, and also the satisfaction of getting such a long-standing project done. And then I moved on to Outside the Sweet Shop, and I haven't actually been, I was just going to say, why haven't I been doing it much? It's because Onyx Storm came out. So yeah, I haven't been doing as much, but I'm enjoying it. I'm nearly at the end of this row, then I'll have another break. So yeah, I'm plodding through things as planned, and really looking forward to this one. And hoping that that's not a bad omen, because sometimes it's the ones that I think I'm going to enjoy most that, maybe just because of that juxtaposition of expectations versus reality, I don't always end up loving the most. But there's nothing about this image or the colours or anything like that I can see as being problematic for me. I think it's going to be really fun. And I will, of course, put a post review up of this one when it's done, because I know particularly with mystery kits, people do like to see that if they want to have it spoiled for them. But as I said at the start, it's quite an old one. A lot of people will have done it for themselves by now. So old, there's not even any fairy dust drills. They're in almost every kit at the moment. I've been pretty restrained in January, and I've only bought, no, I was going to say I've only bought one new diamond painting, but that's not true. I bought two, because I bought the Abraham Hunter that Diamond Art Club released last week, because I just thought it was gorgeous, and it is big and landscapey, and I'm trying not to have too many of those in my stash, but it's got a lot of colour blocking. And then Diamond Art Club also released a Richard Lorenz this Saturday just gone. And Richard Lorenz is probably my favourite artist. Anyone who's watched the channel for a while will know I have a lot of his, that I really enjoy them. I actually wasn't 100% convinced how much I liked this one. It was a cropped image, and I wasn't 100% sure. And then I checked back in early access. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. My son came in and was chatting to me. Oh yeah, so I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, but when I checked in early release, it sold out quite quickly, and that lit a fire under me. Just because I've had a few before where you never know if a kit's going to be discontinued, and I just don't want to be disappointed. Sometimes they really grow on me. My whole obsession with Richard Lorenz started with Family Circus, and I wasn't going to buy that kit. And then a friend said to me, oh, this looks really fun, what do you reckon? And kind of, you know, got me thinking about it, and I ended up picking it up, and it's one of my favourite diamond paintings I've ever done, and it started the whole Richard Lorenz obsession. So yes, I ended up picking up the one they released this Saturday just gone. But yeah, I have, I'm trying not to buy too many kits at the moment. I know very much how fortunate I am that I am on Diamond Art Club's sneak peek program, and I get sent kits, and I've been very lucky to receive several kits recently that I absolutely love, and you know, definitely would have been buying otherwise, so that's part of it. But it also means just my stash is it's getting to a point where I feel a little more uncomfortable with how many I have. And I know I need to put the brakes on a bit, make sure I'm not buying things unless I really, really want them. Funny that I'm saying that right after explaining my mixed feelings on the Richard Lorenz, right? But here's an exception. And yeah, I need to do some destashing because I'm just so out of space. So, yeah. The problem with destashing is finding time to do it. I have a friend who runs a Facebook group called DAC Fans UK, which if you like Diamond Art Club and you're in the UK, you should join because it's brilliant. And I do destash kits on there when I can, but it's finding the time to do it. So I actually have a friend who does cat sitting for me, and she likes doing this kind of thing, so I asked her if she'd like to destash some. So I think she might take some off my hands and get them sorted for me. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I do need a bit more space. We've been trying to sort the house the past few months because we're kind of, I mean, we're not hoarders, but you know, we have a lot of stuff in the house and I need to get on top of it more. So yeah, trying to be ruthless and not constantly getting attached to inanimate objects that I then don't want to get rid of. Does anyone else do that? Or is that just a me thing? I'm terrible. I kind of feel bad for things as I get rid of them, which is insane. It's insane behaviour. Don't be like me. But yeah, I find the whole thing tricky. But then I also really don't like living amongst clutter, so... oh, there is a fairy dust. I was thinking there weren't any fairy dust in this. Well, that surprised me. So it must have been longer ago than I thought that they started bringing these out. But there is only one. Do you know what? I've completely forgotten to use the, what do you call it? The funnel. This is the thing, because I didn't buy one for ages because I thought, you know, do I really need one? And I guess for me, it's one of those things where it does help, but I'm very, what's the word? It's lazy. I'm lazy about repetitive things. So it's something that I have to keep taking in and out. I I end up not using, apparently. But it's not a reflection of the funnel. The funnel works brilliantly. So if you like to use them, you know, get one. This one's from Zeus 3D Creations, who are on Etsy and TikTok and also have a website. 3857. Hopefully you can't hear my washing machine doing its spin cycle in the background. I don't think the microphone will pick that up, but you can never be sure. And I've only got a few to go, so this really hasn't been too bad. I think there's been 1 or 2 bags with a tiny bit of static, but it's one of the best ones I've had for a long time for static, which is nice because I was not in the mood. I've been doing a lot of Duolingo recently too. I think I spoke about that on a previous Wip'n'Chat too, but yeah, I'm still going. I'm still refreshing my French that I should really be fluent with if I'd kept things up after my degree, but I'm absolutely not. And I'm learning Italian. I find it good. I know not everyone likes Duolingo. It is, I mean, every way of learning appeals to different brains, right? So not everyone is going to find the same methods helpful, but I find it's helping and things are sticking. I mean, definitely with the French, I know that's because it's revision for me. You know, I'm several modules in and there's nothing that's brand new to me with the French because I did do a whole degree in it. It's unlocking things that my brain had forgotten. But the Italian is all new to me and I do find it sticking pretty well. You know, when the modules make you revise stuff that you did a while ago, it's pretty much there. And that's the big test, isn't it? Are you actually learning or are you just learning to remember it for a little while? Anyway, I recommend it if you do like learning languages and it sounds like it could be your sort of thing. I think it's good. There is a free version and then you have adverts and lives you can run out of and that kind of thing. I upgraded to a paid family version because my son's doing it too. So it's worthwhile for the 2 of us. And then you do get things like, you know, you can't run out of lives, which particularly for him was an issue because he'd sort of take guesses at things and then get a bit stuck. Ooh, I've just almost cut open that one and that is the same colour. Okay. 4 more quite big bags. I may actually need to use the thingamajiggy again. So 3842. I'm looking forward to getting off my feet. I think I'll actually be quite pleased to do some labelling of putties after this because it means I can sit down and listen to my audiobook, which is, oh, what is it called? It's the Ending series by, let me remind myself because I'm terrible with names, Lindsay Pogue and Lindsay Fairley. It's a series I've read a few times before actually. I do enjoy the comfort of rereading things that I know I enjoy. And I'm on, I think, book 3 or 4 of it now with the audiobook. And it's sort of a combination of sort of fantasy and apocalyptic fiction. I don't know why, but I really enjoy apocalyptic fiction, you know, the kind of things where the world ends and humans have to rebuild and that kind of thing. Makes me sound really morbid and weird, but I've been on a real run of those in recent months. And this one is, it's up there amongst my favourites, I think, because it's a very easy reading, or in this case, easy listening version of that kind of genre. So yeah, it's good. If you like that kind of thing, give it a go. 3371. But yeah, it's nice having things that, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I listen to audiobooks that I haven't read the book for while working all the time, but there is something quite good about rereading ones, and then if I lose concentration because I'm focusing on something work related at the same time, it's not such a big deal. 498, didn't I do that one already? Yeah, so that's an extra bag, 498. So I'm actually done. That seemed to almost go suspiciously smoothly. So now all I have to do is sort them. So this is the trickier bit. So I'm going to have, right, let's start grouping them. So I've got numbers first, and then I will do letters. And then I usually do something like mathematical symbols and lines. Anyway, we'll see what seems to make sense. So there's quite a lot actually that are in the sort of more standard categories. So that's a mathsy symbol. That's a mathsy symbol. That's a Y. I'll consider that an L, even though it's not really. And I always think of that like a division symbol, even though it's not. So let's do that, and there'll be dots, and oh, how am I going to do this? Directional symbols. There we are. That should be mathsy. And that's a way of... I'm just basically muttering to myself now, aren't I? I sound like a crazy person. Okay. Let's get these out, and I'll figure the rest as I go. Once I've got these first ones out of the way. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no 6. There is a 7 and an 8. And then letters-wise. Okay. Can you even see what I'm doing over here? Right. TV... TUV, there's a Y, right, is C the first one? Yeah, I think it's C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Anyone else still have to run through the alphabet even at my age? H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, oh, there was a J, no, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and then I've got lowercase, so I've got A, E, and N. Okay, so that's a lot of them taken care of. Then I'm going to do mathsy symbols, so I'm going to do plus, minus, division symbols, and equals. I don't think there's a little X is there, because that would be over here anyway. And then I'm going to do directional symbols. So what have I got for that? I've got some arrows here. Is that all of them? I think so. So let's just put those in. Anyway, that makes sense for those really. Oh, and there's an arrow. Okay. How about dots? So 1 dot, 1 dot, oops. 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots. So all of those. And then I'm going to do lines, line type symbols. So there's a dash, a thicker dash, 2 dashes. As you can see, it's fairly random and made up in my head as I go along, but once I'm working on them, it does tend to help make it stick where they are to me. And then the rest are going to be fairly random, but I'll sort of follow on a little bit. So that's 2 wavy lines, that's a line with a dash, that's lines of sorts, that's a line and a dot. Then I could do some triangles, and then let's stick a star in because that's a shape, as is a heart. And then I've lost track of all sense of a system, so I'm just going to bung them in. So that is how I organise drills when I want to do it by symbol. No hard and fast method exactly there, but it works for me. So there they all are. That was nice and easy. That was pleasantly surprising how quickly and easily that went. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please don't forget to leave a like on the video. It really, really helps. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, I'd love to have you stick around. So please consider doing that too. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.